Hey guys, want to say hello. I've been away for a few days, and I was sitting out here. Had to do a little seat repair on the old Suburban today, and was thinking about some of the things that I've talked about in some videos in the past, and what I guess the point of the whole video thing was, and a lot of stuff's been kind of swirling around in my head, and I thought it would be kind of a good thing to maybe just, I don't know if a confession's the right thing, but just share a little bit more with you guys about kind of what's going on. And one of the biggest, I guess, things that I'm trying to get across to people that watch these videos is I'm a regular guy, and I struggle as much or more than most anybody you're ever going to meet with the things that I talk about. And the reason that I talk about them is, one, I hope it helps you, but sometimes it's a little more selfish, and it's helping me. It's helping me process through something I've read or something that, I feel like spiritually I'm dealing with. And if you remember a few weeks ago, I talked about Lazarus and all that was going on there. And I talked about that sort of transition between death and coming out of the cave and all of that. And that's really, it's very personal to me. And because throughout my life, I, from time to time, have felt very much in that spot. And over the last week or so, I have really struggled with just that sort of despair and that, I guess you'd say, depression. I don't even know what to call it exactly. When I was younger, I always thought of it to myself as I just get stuck, like I'm in a rut, or I can't get out of my own way and out of my own head. I'm just stuck. And logically, I often can tell myself, hey, here's what you need to do. Do this, 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 and this, or think this way, that way, and this. And as some of you guys might know, it does not matter when you're in it. A lot of times, a pep talk doesn't work. Positive thinking doesn't work. It doesn't seem like prayer works. It just doesn't seem like anything works. And I spent 3 or 4 days over the last week or so just feeling, like crap. I wasn't necessarily sick, although after I feel like that, I feel sick because I worry so much. My stomach gets in a knot and all this other stuff. But it's just crazy to me, and I don't understand it. And I can't help but think there's probably somebody that might listen to this or watch this that is in a similar boat or can relate. And I'm kind of sharing some of this just as an encouragement. Not that I have an answer, because I do not. If I had an answer, I would tell you what to do. And if I had a formula, I would tell you, hey, do this, this, and this. But I don't have it. But one thing that kind of brought me, and it has lately when I feel like this, is I think about David in 1 Samuel, I think it's chapter 22 or 22, when he is on the run and he hides in a cave. All like his world's crashing around him, and he's in this cave. And if you ever Google the cave that David's in, it's not a cave I'd want to hang out in. It's not like a very comfy cave. It looks like a hole in the ground pretty much. But that's historically where everybody thinks he was. And it's creepy and dark and gross. And I couldn't even imagine having to hide out there, or I couldn't even imagine climbing down there on a dare, honestly. It's really creepy to me. But that's where he supposedly was during this time. And he writes several Psalms there, and one of them is Psalm 142. And lately, and by lately I mean in the last few years, as I've kind of tried to handle this stuff a little bit better, I think about that. I think about the story. It sort of helps kind of bring some calmness to my mind when I get so bogged down. But there, in Psalm 142, David talks about being in despair and sinking and crying out to God, and the imagery of that sinking into despair, it relates to me, because I don't see it coming. It's not like I know, hey, I woke up this morning and I know this is going to happen. It's just like all of a sudden it just hits me. And when it happens, it's like almost instantly I know it's happening, but I can't do anything about it. And then everything piles onto it. Like everything I've ever thought I've screwed up on or let people down on, it just seems like that comes out of nowhere. Things I haven't thought about in years, all of a sudden, like, hey, dude, remember that time you really botched that one up? All of that starts coming. And it doesn't matter what sweet things my wife says, or what inspirational things I read, or what nice things coworkers say. I just can't get out of it. And the only thing that seems to even get me turning the right way is thinking about that story and that psalm when David is probably in way worse situation than I'm in, because a king wants to kill him. He's lost a really good friend and all this other stuff, and his world's crumbling, and he's hiding in a hole in the ground, and I'm just not really wanting to go to work in the morning. And so it's not exactly apples to apples, but I do relate. I do relate to the despair. I do relate to the fear. I do relate to the anxiety. And I do relate to the not knowing what to do next, and not knowing why someone that has so many good things, logically speaking, great family, good job, everything seems okay, relatively good health. I'm kind of fat and out of shape, but that doesn't count. But things are pretty good. And so it's kind of hard. Logic just doesn't play right, And so just kind of hanging on to that. And I've sort of, I guess the confession part is, I should have talked to you guys sooner, but I'm a wuss, and I was scared to, and I was embarrassed, and I was disappointed in myself because I sort of have in my mind this schedule that I'll record one of these every so many days or whatever. I still don't really have that down right yet. But anyway, in my mind, I'm supposed to be working on that. And so the confession is, I should have said something. I should have reached out to you guys, just like I asked you guys to reach back out to me. And when I say, hey, I'm going to pray for y'all, if you need something, let me know. And I know there's a few people that have shared things with me, and I think that's awesome. And I try to think about y'all every day, and I try to think about and pray about what y'all are going through. But I didn't do it back, and that's not right. I mean, if I can pray for you, you guys can pray for me, right? So I guess I don't know. It's just really hard to explain how it all works in my mind, or doesn't work, I guess probably would be a better thing. But I've just kind of, as I was sitting here wrestling with the seat to get fixed in the Suburban here, I was kind of going over in my mind, what are you waiting on? Why aren't you saying something? Because you're asking other people to say something to you. And why aren't you telling someone what has helped you? So, I just kind of, I guess I want to sort of confess, but at the same time also say that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's redemption, there's restoration, there's all the stuff that we've talked about, even though when I was in that funk. It's hard to remember all that, and it's hard to believe it sometimes. But I just kind of wanted to let you guys know that, you know, I guess I apologize for not reaching out. I guess I should have said something. I guess I know I should have posted something out to the folks that listen to this and watch this and said, hey, could really use a prayer today. But I didn't, mainly because I was embarrassed, mainly because I don't understand when that sort of getting stuck thing happens to me. I don't know what to do. You know, I know God's in control. I know Jesus is there. I know his grace. I know his mercy. But sometimes you just don't feel it. And sometimes you just don't, it just doesn't seem to meet you where you're at, you know? And some of it's self-induced. I know, like when I get in funks like that, I don't make good decisions and I don't do things that I should. And, you know, when I should probably get up a little bit earlier and maybe go for a walk, I sleep in. Or, you know, there's a ton of stuff that we probably do. You know, I can't even put words to it most of the time. But I kind of just wanted to let you guys know, sort of in a, I don't know, kind of a confessional prayer request kind of thing. I'm not sure if that's a theological thing or not, but a prayer request confessional thing. Maybe that is, I don't know. But I really wanted to connect back with you. I really wanted to say that I missed these little things that I'm doing, even though I'm not sure why I'm doing it. I hope somebody gets something out of it. But again, I'm here to pray for you. I hope you'll pray for me, and know that, you know, hey, everything's good. Hey, got the Suburban seat fixed, so I'm not sitting crooked anymore. So that's good. But I don't have a seat over there anymore because I had to do a little, swap out. So I'm not sure who's going to ride, how you're sitting over there, if you're ever riding with me, but, we'll get to that next weekend probably. But anyway, I just wanted to touch base, say that I appreciate you guys, love you guys. I'm praying for you, and I would ask you pray for me, because sometimes a Tuesday morning will throw you a curveball that you didn't see coming. And next thing you know, you're circling the drain pretty quick. And for me, it takes a few days to get back. And I'm hoping and praying that as I grow and walk with God closer and closer, that goes away more and more. But I still know it's real. And if it's something you're struggling with, feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to ask me to pray for you. Feel free to know that I don't have an answer, and I'm not going to give you a pep talk, because I know when you're in the funk, it's not really a pep talk you need. But I do know Jesus is there. I do know that he's rebuilding and he's restoring and he's renewing and he's renaming. And I believe it. And I know when David was in that cave, he didn't stay there. He got out and he went on to do some amazing things and write some amazing words. But he wasn't ashamed to cry out and say, God, help me in this despair. So I hope everybody has a great week. I hope everybody does well. If you need anything, reach out to me. If not, please pray for me. And everyone have a great week. Love you guys. Bye-bye.